Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story? Is anonymous. Brother Nashi, I am a 24-year-old student living here in Harare. I never thought that my life would turn out this way. But after everything that I have been through, I feel like I am trapped. I am consumed by my guilt, and I am even unsure if I can ever escape what I am going through. I am sharing my story because I need help. I need to get out before it is too late, but I don't know how. So the only person who knows about the things that is happening, it is my mom. So I told my mom that this is what this guy has been doing to me, but I have since lied to my mom about the number of abortions that this guy has made me to have. I told my mom that this man only made me to have 2 abortions, in which he has since forced me to have 12 abortions. So my mom said, hold on, maybe he loves you. Since he's fighting with his wife, he's going to marry you. So I am just hanging on there. I don't know if he is ever going to marry me. It all started 3 years ago. This was after I had moved from the villages, because I come from a very small village, and then I moved from that village and I started staying with my own auntie in town. And then I came because I come from the eastern part of Zim, and then I came to Harare and I started staying in Harare. When I came to the city, I had big dreams like so many others, because I just wanted to get some education, even to get a degree, I told myself, but my parents did not even have enough money to send me to varsity. So I am currently going to this other college. So when I came here, I wanted to get whatever qualification that I was going to get, and after getting that qualification, then I was going to find a good job. That was my plan. So I wanted to help my family, but I don't want to lie to you. When I came to the capital city, that was when I saw that things were not as what I thought they were going to be, even though I had big dreams. But life in Harare is very difficult. I managed to enroll at this other college, but with the rising cost of tuition and living expenses, I quickly ran out of money. My parents had done all that they could so as to support me, but they were struggling back home, and I didn't want to be a burden on them. As for rent was piling up, and I could not even pay the rent in months and months. So I was on the verge of being evicted from my small room where I am staying in Bari. So the problem was that the landlord's son, he wanted to sleep with me. I nearly slept with him, but when I was told that this man is HIV positive and yet he had requested that we sleep together without using any protection, I said no. So I then told myself that it is far much better that I look for another solution. So in the street where I am staying, there are these ladies, they are always hanging around at different clubs. So I was desperate. I went to them and I said, please help me. I need rent money. Otherwise, this man is going to sleep with me. So then I found myself in places that I could never even imagine leading up to that week when I was supposed to sleep with him, hustling for the money. One night after I realized that I would not make the rent again, that was when they went with me to this other club. It's called Mashwede. We went there. I had heard from a few girls on campus that it was a place where older men go there to find younger women. So I spoke with those ladies and they laughed at me and they said, oh, you can go there. We will go with you. Do not worry. So they told me that there were some older guys that are always hanging out there and they are looking for younger women, offering money in exchange for, well, I was disgusted by the idea at first, but with the eviction that was looming over me, I had no choice and I could not go back home, not with the shame of failure hanging over my head, because I am like the one who is the beacon of hope in my family. That is why my mom keeps on encouraging me to date and to continue sleeping with this blesser, because she does not want me to look like I am a disappointment. She is already speaking of a big wedding one day that I'm going to have with this rich blesser. So that night I dressed up in this short mini skirt and I was just like I was naked, and we went to Mashwede. It was my first time there, and I felt out of place. The lights were dim, the music was loud. Men of all ages, mostly older, in their 40s or 50s, they were eyeing us like we were some pieces of meat. I hated it, but I needed money. I needed to survive. I tried to tell myself that it will be one night, one time, and I will be done. That was when I met Blessing, not his real name, Brother Nashi. When I met this man, he was in his 50, but you could tell that he was well off in life. His clothes, they screamed money, and he had this aura of confidence around him. He was smooth, charming, and he seemed genuinely interested in me. He bought me drinks, and after a few hours of talking, that was when he came to me and he offered me 1,000 rands. And he said, I want to give you this money to spend a night with me. And I said, the hassle of going around trying to find someone who can change the money from rands to US dollars. Then he said, okay, it is fine. I'll give you the money equivalent to US dollars. At that moment, it felt like my problems will be half solved. So I don't know who really Blessing was at that time. I did not know what I was getting myself into. Over the next few months, Blessing and we started seeing each other regularly, and he became my blesser. He would give me money. Sometimes he would give me a lot of it, and I would pay for my rent. But as for the clothes, he would say, do not worry. When I go to South Africa, I will bring you some. And he made sure that I always get clothes from South Africa, like I had everything that I needed. In exchange, he said, I want you to be faithful. You do not sleep with anyone. You only sleep with me. Is that clear? So I told him that I had a boyfriend that I was going to dump. Whenever he wanted to see me, I had to go to him. I thought that I had hit the jackpot. I no longer had to worry about rent or food, and I could focus now finally on my studies. But then things started to change. It was the second time when I got pregnant by him, when I realized that something was wrong. I had already had one abortion, and that at that time I was trying to convince myself that it was just a mistake. Like this guy, like he said that you did not warn me. You should have told me that you are not on any family pills. And it happened again. And then I started not to notice a pattern. Blessing never seemed surprised when I told him that I was pregnant. Instead, he would calmly give me money for an abortion and insist that I get rid of it as soon as possible. He never wanted us to use protection, and every time that I ended up being pregnant, he had the same reaction. No hesitation, just money and instructions to take care of it, always going to his private doctor. The third abortion, that was when I started asking questions, because this dude, like, he has nerves of steel. Because the time when I had an abortion the second time, he came and he slept with me when I was still bleeding. I said, do you know that you can get sick sleeping with a woman who has a miscarriage and we are not using protection? He said it is fine, because like since we have been sleeping together, then there is no problem, and the child that I was carrying belonged to him, so he's not going to get sick. So I told him that I could not keep doing this, that it was damaging my body and my soul. That was when he revealed a small part of the truth. He told me that he had a mine in Kwekwe, and every time that I got pregnant, he wanted to take me to Kwekwe. So he told me that the mine, his relative, they were witches, they had been fighting with him, so he wanted me to go with him to offer the blood from the miscarriage for his ritual. At first, I did not understand what he meant, but he involved what we were supposed to do. He said that I should take it as a woman who was securing her future by protecting her future husband. He said that the blood from the aborted pregnancies, they were going to protect him from his relatives, because they wanted him not to be successful as he is. I was horrified, and I had heard rumors about people using rituals to get rich, but I never thought that I would end up being involved in something like that. I wanted to leave, but by that point, I was too deep. Blessing had control over me. He gave me some charms to drink that can make my heart to become strong and not to fear anything. Every time that I think about leaving, I remember how much financially my parents depend on him. How will I pay rent? How will my parents survive? I feel like I am a trapped woman. So over the next 2 years, I had 12 abortions for Blessing. 12, Brother Nashi. Each time when I think about it, When I think that it is going to be the last, each time then I find myself pregnant again. The guilt, the pain, and the emotions that I have to go through when I fall pregnant again, over and over again, it is just too much for me. So it's like I hate myself right now. I can't even look at myself in the mirror. Like when I make that mistake to look at myself in the mirror, I quickly look away. I can't even have direct eye contact with myself because I see a monster in me, someone who has let himself to be used in the worst possible way. I have tried to leave him several times. I have even blocked his number once, but he has always found a way to reach me, and each time he would promise me more money and more gifts. He knows exactly how he can manipulate me. He knows the situation that I left back home in the village. Like my parents, they are totally dependent on him, and my mom has been encouraging me. Like the last abortion that I had, it was the worst. I felt so much pain afterwards that I decided to end up in the hospital. The doctor told me that if I have another abortion, I went to the hospital in secret without him knowing. I might not be able to have children in the future. This is what is hitting me now. It's like I am sacrificing my future for a man who seems not to care about me. When I try to distance myself from him, what he does is that he goes straight to my mom. Then he can go and give my parents money. Then he will start to cry in front of my mom, saying that I have told him that I don't love him anymore. So I don't know, what am I supposed to do? How do I break free from blessing, from this life? I feel like I am drowning in guilt and shame. Please help me before I lose everything, including my own womb. Dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. That was the translation of the message that she sent to me. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world.